Now, in many spiritual paths, especially witchcraft, shamanism, there's a lot of mention of land spirits and working with the land, honoring the land spirits and things like that. And when we think of honoring the land spirits, we often think of, going into a forest or going into a natural environment where we can actually touch the ground. But what do we do if we don't live anywhere near a forest or a natural environment? What if we live in an urban area? What if we live in a city that's completely built up? How do we honor the land spirits? So let's have a look at that. So when it comes to honoring land spirits, we often have a romanticized idea about what it is, what the land spirits are, working with the land itself. And it is quite important, very important, to actually honor the land you're on. But if you're in a built-up area where you can't actually access natural forests and natural areas, and you might be in a place where it's just brick and mortar everywhere you go, and there might be parks and things like that, but to actually do some kind of honoring ritual, it's a bit difficult because there's always people walking around. But it doesn't matter where you are, there are still land spirits there. It's probably a better idea to term it spirits of place. Because as I say, when we talk about land spirits, we often get that romanticized idea of where we should be honoring these land spirits. But if we speak about spirits of place, then we're talking about a spirit which actually is present in a place. So it could be your office, for instance, your office block. It could be the block in your city, or it could be the entire city. But as far as nature goes, nature's always there. It's got to be built on something. So the land is always there. However, what usually happens is that when an area gets developed, the natural land spirit that was there is often pushed out or moves or is usually completely disregarded, actually. But we can see evidence of nature wherever we are. I mean, a little weed that pops through cement paving and things like that. So it doesn't matter how much you actually build, nature's going to be there. And if you actually leave a building for long enough without any maintenance, it's going to start growing plants. You're going to get weeds and plants just growing all over it. If you leave it for long enough, obviously it's going to take many years, but nature's always there. Nature is always present, regardless of where you are. Now, I'm quite lucky. I mean, I live in a small apartment. We call them, in South Africa, we call them complexes. So these are double-story units. There's usually 4 units within a block, and then you get a block next door, and then it's on an estate. So I'm on the first floor, but I'll show you some video from my balcony. So it's quite nice. You've got your garden, and your actual natural spaces, your trees and your plants. So even though we're in a built-up area, we still get that natural feel, and it's very important, actually. But again, some people aren't as lucky as this. They're in a completely built-up area, in a city where you just haven't got that natural view, that natural environment at all. But as I say, if you speak about spirits of place, then you've probably got one. If you live in an apartment block, you've probably got a spirit of place there. that you can actually contact and honor. You can even go as far as to say, if you go to your electrical power plant, there's going to be a spirit of place there also that is over the power plant, that is present within the power plant. An interesting thing, I don't know if you've watched American Gods. If you have watched American Gods, I do suggest reading the book. Neil Gaiman's one of my favourites, but he's just got an incredible imagination. Neverwhere, was absolutely brilliant, but American Gods, I just couldn't put that book down. That was incredible. But if you look at American Gods, you've got the old gods and you've got the new gods. So you've got your old gods like Odin, but your new gods come in: technology, media, advertising, marketing, social media. All of these new gods are coming in, and they are present, and we worship them. So if you take that same context into the concept of land spirits and spirits of place, then you're going to have your spirits of place in technological areas and blocks, like your power plant, like your office block. So don't disregard the fact that just because you are living in a city and everything's technology and brick and mortar and there's no nature around at all, doesn't mean that you don't have spirits of place where you are, where you work, where you live. And so be aware of that also. But apart from that, as I said, yes, a city gets built on a piece of land, and because of that, the land spirit might move because it's not happy with what happened, but it might not. There could still be a spirit of place in that land itself, so you can try and contact that spirit as well and try and honor it somehow. And the way you would contact any of these spirits, whether it is your office block, whether it's your apartment block, whether it's just your home, is that you just get into a light trance state and you just reach out to the spirit of place and talk to it. You'll probably feel a presence. You need to use a lot of intuition with this. I find that if I use my intuition for contacting spirits and these especially these types of spirits, you might sometimes question whether it's your own feelings or whether it's actual spirit that's actually talking to you and contacting you, and the presence that you're feeling is actually a spirit, or whether, as I say, it's just your own imagination. But the more you do it, the more you learn to sort of decipher between the two, or discern between the two. And you do find that it can be quite subtle, but there is a difference between what you would imagine and what is actually really there. So just keep practicing, and you'll start noticing those differences. So you get into a light trance state, you reach out and you just speak to the spirit of place and you ask it how you can honor it. And it might be something quite simple. It might just be lighting a candle every time you get to the office. It might just be leaving some food out. It can be quite simple. Just lighting a stick of incense maybe every day you wake up in your apartment. As I say, you just got to communicate with the spirit and just ask it what it actually needs, how you can honor it, how you can please it. And you'll find that when you're honoring these spirits, they do provide, I'm not sure service is the right word, but they do help. They may protect you, they may find things for you. And this actually comes into working with house ghosts as well, which is very much the same thing actually. If I'm talking about house ghosts, I'm talking about a spirit which is present in your home, and it helps out. It protects your home. It may find things for you're looking for, and just can't remember where you put them. It'll guide you to those things. House ghosts can actually be quite well, naughty and impish sometimes as well. If you haven't cleaned your house, because they like a clean house. House ghosts just love a clean house. So if you've ignored the cleaning or ignored the washing or something like that, and you just go, "Oh, do it later or do it tomorrow," and you sit down to watch TV, you suddenly can't find the remote. That's happened to me before, and you look everywhere for this remote, and it's just nowhere to be found, and you say, "Oh, fine, okay, fine, I'll go clean." You go clean, you come back and sit exactly where you were previously, and the remote's right in front of you. So they can be quite tricky. But house ghosts, house ghosts mostly like to be fed porridge and things like that. But they are also a spirit of place. They are the spirit that is in your home. So it's when we're talking about land spirits and spirits of place, we're also talking about the house ghosts and such things. So definitely reach out to these spirits. They're there. They're always there. We just need to become more aware of them and to understand that they're there, and they need our help as much as we need theirs. And so if we do honor them and we do acknowledge them, and every day we do our little bit to actually help them, we need to feed them. If we feed them, they become a bit stronger, and when they become a bit stronger, the more they're able to help you. As I say, protection, just helping out with inspiration, maybe, whatever it is. You just speak to the spirit, ask it how you can honor it, and ask how it can help you as well in return. And give it a bash. Just stop ignoring all the spirits around us. We'll probably be better people. And that's it for today. Thank you, and I'll see you on Friday. Cheers.